Hello, friends. I'm Naveen Rai. I have with me Ria, who has gotten through multiple universities with scholarship. And in this journey, we're going to see that how Ria went from New York to Chennai, changed the schools, and steered her application in a successful manner. Welcome, Ria, and hope you're doing good.
Hi, sir. How are you? I'm doing good.
Wonderful, wonderful, Ria. So, Ria, why don't you begin with your journey so far? Why don't you tell something about yourself?
Hello everybody. My name is Rhea Arul, and I was born in the United States, but I was brought up in India. My schooling journey has been sort of a roller coaster throughout high school, especially. For my freshman year, I had been stuck during the COVID pandemic, and I had to do online schooling in Chennai. However, for my sophomore year in grade 10, I had moved to New York, wherein I attended a private boarding school, and this was sort of the academics over there was sort of tailored to train you to get into Ivy League colleges and top universities in the US, around the world as well. However, due to family and due to personal reasons, I had to relocate, and I could unfortunately only complete my sophomore year in New York, and I had to relocate before the beginning of my junior year, which was 11th grade, back to Chennai. So when I came back to Chennai, I had joined my old school, which was APR Global School, for the AS and A level curriculum. And I was doing 4 to 5 subjects with them throughout my 11th grade. However, at the end of my 11th grade, I had sort of understood the concept that when you spend 8 hours at school, you do not have enough time to balance out extracurriculars and internships and have that sort of balance that you need to gain an edge over every other applicant 2 years down the line when applications are due. So I sort of had this forward minded thinking, and I decided to take the plunge and become a private candidate, which is an option under the Cambridge curriculum, which sort of follows a um, homeschool sort of style. And basically, private candidacy revolves around having one center, which is a school around your locality, be your examination center, and all of the studying gets done by yourself. And you can go to external private tutoring centers, which is what I had chosen to do, or you could choose to study on your own as well. So I had chosen to go to a bunch of two tutoring centers wherein I was tutored under psychology, economics, and business. And English, I chose to self study myself. And these were my AS and A level subjects throughout 11th and 12th grade. Towards the end of 11th grade, when I had left APL, I sort of gained the freedom of being able to study how I wanted to study, use the familiarized study patterns that I was okay with. And this helped me sort of familiarize my concepts at the pace that I wanted to. And I also had the dream of fast forwarding my exams because I'd wanted to finish my senior year earlier than everyone else, which was 12th grade. And the regular academic year would only end by June. And I more or less wanted to be done at least with half by the end of 2023, which was last year. So my journey throughout private candidacy has been quite rocky due to the fact that there was a lack of support, as in there was a lack of guidance, because private candidacy was a very new concept. There were not a lot of students who had followed the same path as I did, and there were all these myths and there were all these myths surrounding the fact that college admissions and college applications and colleges don't recognize private candidacy, and that if you were applying as a private candidate, it would be harder for you and you would not stand the same chance as a regular schooling student. And this is something that I found out throughout my journey, along with Naveen sir's help, that this was not the case, in fact. And what I had done instead was, by the time I had completed my 11th grade and begun my 12th grade, I decided to split my A level examinations into two series, and I wanted to fast forward two exams so that I could focus on submitting applications for my early action deadline. So, what I had done is I fast tracked my psychology and I fast, I'm so sorry, sir. I fast tracked my business exam and I fast tracked my English exam. And when I fast tracked these exams, I felt the freedom of stopping academics and focusing fully on college applications, on supplemental essays, on the Common App personal essay, getting my CV together, organizing my extracurriculars, collecting my letters of recommendations. These were all like a long, tedious process that I felt like if I was not a private candidate, I couldn't have done. Secondly, I feel like private candidacy also mainly helped me in having a plethora of internships and extracurriculars that a lot of other regular school going students would not be able to do. I was able to commit to going to internships during the school year, which a normal school student would not be able to do. So, a 9 to 5 or a 9 to 4 that you would spend in a day at school, I would divide half into either focusing and devoting it towards extracurriculars or attending an internship. And the second half of the day would go towards self studying all the subjects that I need to take up my A level examinations. To help me self study, I had recognized two tutors in the city who helped me with economics, business, and psychology, respectively. And English, I had decided to do on my own because I felt like that was a very strong subject of mine. And throughout these private tutoring sessions, I felt like I was learning more than I did at the school that I was previously attending. Due to the one on one personalized learning, the pace can be set by you. There are deadlines that you can set yourself and follow through on, which also gives you an edge over rest of the students as well who are taking up the same exams. So what I had done was, after I took up my October exams, I had submitted my applications to the respective universities, wherein I did face challenges with applications in terms of letters of recommendation, in terms of who uploads your documents onto the Common App. Because I'm not directly affiliated with the school, there would not be a designated school counselor to do that all for me. So what I had done was, since I had a consistent tutor that I had been going to throughout my private candidacy, which was a duration of 1.5 years, I had her write my letter of recommendation and I had her act as my counselor, and she was the one who was uploading my documents onto the Common App. Initially, there were doubts along with Naveen sir and I as to whether this would work or not, or whether universities would accept this. And to our surprises, they actually did accept it and they were fine with it. And after my Common App application was submitted, along with the help of my private tutors and the external letters of recommendations I got from my respective internships, I was able to submit everything, and I was able to submit the additional documents also required by the universities after the after the Common App submission. So I had my respective schools. I had to reach out to the schools that I attended in grade 9, 10, 11, and I had to submit a predicted grade report card that came from the tutors that I had attended. And all of this was submitted and directly sent to the respective universities by the respective schools. So I understood that even if you are an alumni of the school and you are not attending that school anymore, you still very much have the right and freedom to approach them and request your transcripts to be released to the respective universities. And they would do it. So it's basically called an alumni transcript forwarding request, and each of these schools do have it. Except a lot of students are not aware of this because they're unaware, and as did I have the fear that these schools would not help out because I was not an active student at their school. So as with regard to transcript forwarding, they were able to assist in that. With regard to letters of recommendations, my counselor as in my teacher and my tutors who were helping me with psychology, business, and economics, they were able to write up a teacher recommendation, a counselor recommendation, and a normal letter of recommendation as well, all of which were accepted by the respective universities. So I would say that private candidacy, it really helped me, and it opened up a bunch of paths for me to explore what I wanted to do. It helped me explore and fixate that political science is what I wanted to do. And it helped me explore the fact that law also could possibly be something I wanted to do. And it gave me the time to align a bunch of extracurriculars that coincided and correlated with the major that I wanted to do it as well. So it was not like I was doing random extracurriculars that did not have anything to do with the major intended. It had everything to do with the major intended, and it sort of aligned, and it gave me an idea of what was going to happen in the future and what I could do.
Very nice, Ria. Now, you broke certain myths that many students might have, is with respect to private candidacy. So, one myth is that only your school teachers can upload the recommendation. So, letters of recommendation here came from the teachers who were training you and who did not train you in the school. Like, it was the training which went outside the school. So, apparently that worked. And now I'm going to shift to another question. So, Ria, you have wonderful offer letters from University of Massachusetts Boston with a scholarship of 2000 dollars. Pace University, New York, with $88,000 dollars scholarship, and you also have an offer letter from Fordham University. Now, my first question to you is, when did you decide that you want to study abroad? And during that course of time, how did you you've talked about your, how did you prepare for the academics? How did you build yourself academically? How did you manage your academics with extracurricular activities? And if you can delve deeper into the extracurricular activities that you took, including the internships.
So, with regard to my extracurriculars and my academics, due to the fact that I had split up my examinations throughout my final year, which was 12th grade, it gave me more time to focus on the extracurriculars that I really wanted to do. And the extracurriculars that I was focusing around mainly was the Model United Nations Circuit in Chennai. I was an active delegate for 4 to 5 years, and I was winning a whole lot of awards: best delegate awards, high commendation awards, verbal mentions, for special mentions. Pretty much every single conference I had attended, I had ended up winning something. So with uh with about 70 model United Nations conferences that I've attended, that I've been a delegate a part of, I've won about 20 to 25 awards in each of them. And from my Model UN journey as a delegate, I sort of turned into being a chair. So I was chairing a lot of MUN conferences, both in New York and in Chennai. So in New York, I was a chair of two MUNs over there, and I helped organize two other MUNs over there. So I was a part of the organizing committee and the executive board. This gave me a sort of like third step point of view of how Model UN and the UN actually works, because this time you are sort of running it and you are executing the whole conference instead of participating in the conference. So when I came to Chennai as well, when I came back and moved back in my 11th and 12th grade, I still took up the opportunities to be a chair, and I started chairing two conferences in Chennai as well. And over here, it helped me understand the diverse roles of how MU1 stays standard all through the world, even though you're going through different cultures and you're experiencing different people from all over the world talking about one common issue. Everyone has different outlooks. So I've sort of been an active participant of MUN as a chair and as a delegate for the last 4 to 5 years, and it sort of enhanced my public speaking skills, and it helped me in my writing skills as well, because there's a lot that goes into being an MUN delegate as well as a chair, because you will have to know a lot of the information by heart. You will have to be familiar with constitutions, you'll have to be familiar with judgments, with rules, with alliances that countries have, with policies that countries have, and you have to be up to date with it. So a very key skill to have as a delegate would be your research skills and your writing skills and your ability to be diplomatic. And I feel like I gained all of that throughout my first year as a delegate, and I was able to channel that into the next few years that I was being a delegate, and I was able to further and upgrade my skills. And this was regarding MUNs, and that sort of inclined and inflicted and sparked an interest in political sciences for me. My interest of political sciences comes from my background and experiences in Model UN. And I feel like without the Model UN experience that I had gotten and exposure I had gotten, I would have never considered political sciences as a major. Because I've had a certain affinity also towards like the U.S. government and the governance and how the policies work there, the constitution there. I've Seeing as that I was also born there, I'm extra familiar with it. So pursuing a political science major, especially in the US, had uh, had sort of grasped my attention. So using this as like a drive, I made sure that I'd aligned a lot of my extracurriculars apart from Model UN to also match political sciences. So I was debating a lot. I was going to a lot of debating conferences, both internationally and in India. I had also won a couple of awards there, which then further made me interested in taking up law internships. I come from a family of lawyers, so they all are very supportive of law being a dream as well. So I spent a couple of months interning at a law firm, and over here I feel like I especially gained the skills of drafting, mediating, um, being able to being able to sort of argue but not argue where you come off as overpowering, which is also another skill required to be a good diplomat. So I feel like everything came together all at once. It was not like my extracurriculars, just because they were isolated, had nothing to do with political sciences, but they all sort of came together and holistically helped me and shaped me into like an individual who would be perfect for the political science major. And I was able to balance this out with my academics because I would split a day into devoting 4 to 5 hours towards either extracurriculars or internships, and the remaining 3 to 4 hours on academics. So I would divide my academic time with my tutors, and they've been very helpful and extremely flexible with timings as well. They've accommodated me at random hours of the night. It's not been a easy journey, even though it was private candidacy, due to the amount of work I was doing and the amount of extracurriculars I was taking up as well. There was not enough time in a day actually. So sometimes we would have tutoring sessions and academics in the night. Sometimes we would have it early in the morning. Sometimes we would have it in the middle while I'm in the car going somewhere, just like a quick video chat where she teaches me a concept and then I remember it, go back home and do my notes. I would say that if you were to take up private candidacy and handle doing extracurriculars, internships, and self studying, it takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of it takes a lot of determination as well. You're going to have to want to push yourself a little further because all of the traditional school going students have their schedules outlined for them. They have homework at a certain time, class at a certain time, and exams at a certain time. But when you're a private candidate, you only have 1 2 exam series and everything else is up to you. So I would say that individually, whichever schedule works for you, you stick to that. But you also make sure that you gain the benefits of what private candidacy gives you, which is the ability to access a whole bunch of extracurriculars and internships and use a lot of more time that the regular student would not be able to.
Wonderful. That was very insightful, Ria. Me and my team had a great time interacting with you, and during the course of the application process, a lot of essays, as you know, in the Common App for different universities. So, how did Hello Study Global help you in the process of the application?
So Hello Study Global really was my sort of stepping stone and guiding stone as to doing everything related to my application, from starting up the common app to filling up the basic tabs. Naveen sir in particular had assisted me in filling out the respective common app requirements. He assisted me in registering for the IELTS exam and also helped me with score reporting. Basically taught me everything that I needed to know and gave me the confidence that this was something that I could do. They helped me especially with the writing as well, wherein there were a team of writers who assisted me in my essays, wherein I would give input and they would sort of tailor the input to be more refined. And it would be a sort of back and forth conversation between the writers and I, wherein we'd find which middle ground fit the question best. And Hello Study Global especially helped me with my essays, wherein when it comes to application time, with the amount of supplementals, tailoring your one common app essay, it takes a lot, and it takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of I would say creativity and willingness as well. And Hello Study Global helped me from helped me go from being underconfident about my work to being confident about my work. With them giving me inputs and refining my work, I was able to see what I was going wrong, what I could have included, what is now included, and what could give me a better edge and what could make my essays better. So they sort of helped me in about every aspect I needed help at. Naveen sir and his team were reachable at pretty much any time that I'd wanted. I would remember texting Naveen sir sometimes late at night about a college related question or a common app related question, and there would be a prompt response, and there was never any time lags between the team and I. There would never be an instance where I had asked for something or I'd asked for support and I would not hear back for days. I would hear back in hours. Hours is the max that there's been a time gap in between responses. So, in terms of that, I feel like Hello Study Global was there for me at all times whenever I needed help, especially supported me with essays, especially supported me with my IELTS score reporting and filling out each university's questions and adding the universities to your common app, understanding the deadlines, shortlisting which colleges to apply to, first of all. The shortlisting was also very helpful because Hello Study Global used my inputs and my preferences about demographics, majors, um, used a combination of safety schools and normal colleges as well to have a diverse amount of options, and sort of tailored their process of college admissions counseling to my needs, which I felt like was very, I'm very appreciative of it. As I was a private candidate. It was a very unique application process, and Hello Study Global analyzed every challenge that I could face possibly in my application journey. And they had told me beforehand, they gave me a list of challenges. They told me this is what I could face, this is what we'll do to overcome it. So I was not scared while applying as well. And it sort of gave me, it really just gave me confidence, and it made me believe that I could actually study abroad if I had gotten in.
Thank you, Ria. Thank you so much. And now, those who are applying abroad, or those who've just decided to apply abroad, what suggestions would you give them who are on the edge of beginning their process, or those students who are just starting to build their profile so that they could land up in wonderful universities abroad?
I would say that building your profile, you need to not add 100 extracurriculars or 100 internships. Have 5 or 5 to 10 uh, that really resonate with your major, that really resonates with your interests, that you've put in a lot of time, effort, and devotion towards, that the universities can see as well, and that reflect in certain supplementals that you write, or it could reflect in your main essay as well. So I feel like a lot of my extracurriculars and some of the supplementals I was writing, they sort of correlated and they resonated with each other. And to profile build, I would say the most important thing is to first fixate on the options of majors that you would see yourself doing, and also fixate on a couple of options as to which countries at least you would like to go to for college, if not the colleges itself. And then go ahead and research and see, does the UK value extracurriculars as much as grades? Does the US value grades over extracurriculars? Are they SAT optional? Are they test optional? IELTS versus TOEFL. These are so many different questions that you can tackle, that I would say, if you have clear cut out by the beginning of your junior year, which is 11th grade, that you will be not stressed at all by the time applications come around in 12th grade, because you would have had everything sorted out. I would say to also have your CV done beforehand, and just regularly update it and tailor it as to every new thing you do. And I would also say to spend a lot of time on your common app essay, to take a lot of time to just brainstorm, have multiple word vomit drafts, keep on drafting, give it to multiple peers, or if you have a college counselor in this case, please give it to them so they can go over it, reword it, they could give you suggestions. And I would say that tailoring your essay is the most important thing. I would say that putting in the amount of time and effort required is what makes your application stand out, because at the end of the day, three students and 100 students could have the same grades, but what really makes you stand out is your extracurriculars, your internships, your essays. And so these are what you need to mainly focus on, while also balancing the fact that you should be getting good grades at school or average grades at school to get into whichever university required.
Okay, another question I have for you, Ria, is many students think that, the SAT is mandatory for the university application process when it comes to applying to American universities. So here you went for SAT optional and you got through wonderful universities. So what is your take on these standardized exams? Which exam did you take?
So I did not choose. I chose to not do the SATs. I chose to be test optional while applying to each university in the US. A lot of the universities in the US now, post COVID, have become SAT optional and test optional. So they sort of allow you to have the option of not taking the SATs and still be considered as an applicant who could get a possible offer of admission. So I chose to not take the SATs due to the amount of workload I had at as being a private candidate and also taking up my internships and extracurriculars. Instead, I took up the IELTS exam, and I took this up in October of last year. And it was sort of like quick and easy. It was about 3 hours, and it required no prep beforehand, because it was sort of a standardized English exam. And seeing as the fact that I had taken college level English at during my sophomore year and my junior year, especially in the US, I feel like I was extremely prepared for the exam, and I was able to come out with a good score as well. So I was quite happy with my IELTS results, and we just reported my IELTS to the respective universities, and we were fine. So I chose to not do the SATs and chose to do the IELTS.
Thank you, Ria. That was very insightful and informative. I wish you all the very best for your future endeavors. A wonderful journey awaits you. So good luck for that, and thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.